Hi, how are you? I hope you're well. Joan here again, and today is such a fantastic day. Today we're learning one of the very best supplements that you could ever have, that you need to have, that you really need to have, include in your daily regimen, which is omega 3. Yeah, so today we're looking at omega 3. So omega 3 is an essential fatty acid. What do we mean by an essential fatty acid? It means that the body requires it, but then the body doesn't manufacture it, or really doesn't manufacture enough quantities of it. So yeah, today we're looking at omega-3 fatty acids, and they're really healthy fats. They're what we call unsaturated fats. They're really very healthy fat. They do not clog pores, they do not do other things because they are not saturated, they are unsaturated fats. So omega-3 fatty acids are divided into three. We have ALA, which is alpha linolenic acid. Then we have EPA, which is eicosapentaenoic acid, and we have DHA, which is docosahexaenoic acid. So the alpha linolenic acid is mainly gotten from plant sources, and then the EPA and DHA is mainly got from deep sea fish. For example, cod liver oil, for example, cod liver fish, for example, krill, mackerel, salmon, sardines. So those are those fish from the deep seas and oceans. So why is it important? For example, if you're in Uganda, omega-3 is important because we actually have fewer sources for it. We really don't have deep sea fish. We don't take it in our diet, yet the body actually needs it. So we don't have what we have. We have a freshwater lake. We really don't have a sea. So we really don't have like the salmons, the cod liver. They're really not part of our diet. And those are the components. Those are the sources that are rich in omega-3. So let's start with ALA. ALA is alpha linolenic acid. So ALA is the reason most people don't call it a major type of omega-3 is because it's a bit found in our diet, for which it is and it's actually, when it gets into the body, it has to be converted into EPA and DHA for it to be able to work properly. So it has to be converted to both EPA and DHA in order for it to work. So a small percentage of it gets to be converted into EPA and DHA, and not most of it. And yet the one that we really require is EPA and DHA. So let's start with ALA. So ALA is gotten from plant sources. Examples of plant sources where we get ALA from we have flaxseed oil, we have chia seeds, we have walnuts, we have canola oil, and a little bit of it is in spinach and curly. So in Uganda, we mainly have access to chia seeds and some spinach and maybe curly, but walnuts are so rare. Canola oil is a bit rare. Even flax seeds are really very rare, and also chia seeds are in a particular part of the country. Most of the chia seeds can be gotten only in supermarkets. So those are the sources of ALA. Most vegetarians actually get ALA. Now, when ALA gets into the body works on it and it's converted into EPA and DHA, which actually the body needs, which are beneficial to the body. But very many factors affect the conversion of ALA to DHA. To EPA and DHA. So ALA, like I said, is a type of omega-3, which is alpha linolenic acid. The factors that affect its conversion into eicosapentaenoic acid and docosahexaenoic acid, which are omega-3 basically, which are like different kinds of omega-3. So our genetics. Some people are able to convert ALA much faster than others. Then we have different foods, the kind of food you take might also affect the conversion. Also, some nutritional supplements like the vitamins and minerals that you could be taking that you actually need as well could also affect the conversion of ALA to EPA and DHA. So what do we advise? What do scientists advise? We advise that you would rather take a supplement either take a food that's rich in EPA and DHA, which we don't readily have available in Uganda, which is the mackerel, the salmon, the krill, the cod liver, which is we don't readily have it, or you take a supplement, and that's what I'm here to talk about. Most of the supplements, the fish oil supplements, actually are very rich in EPA and DHA, and it is included actually even on the label. For example, the Spring Valley omega-3, the omega-3 that's in Prigna Max, the omega-3 that is Prigna Care plus, the omega-3 that is in the omega-3 that is the krill oil, the ultra krill oil, Vita Biotics. There are very many types of omega-3 plant sources, but mainly we have a lot of Spring Valley omega-3, very many types. Nature's Bounty omega-3, name it, cod liver oil, 7 Seas cod liver oil. Shoot, how could I have forgotten cod liver? 7 Seas cod liver oil. Most children have grown up taking 7 Seas cod liver oil, and look at where we are now. And most children still take 7 Seas cod liver oil. Then you have Scott's emulsion. All those are sources of omega-3, and they are mainly rich in omega-3, DHA, and EPA. So let's get into it. So we shall start with EPA, which is a eicosapentaenoic acid. We're done with ALA, so now let's go ahead. So if ALA is being converted into EPA, so let's look at what's so important about this EPA. So yeah, let's go ahead. So we have EPA. 80% of the people worldwide are not getting enough EPA and DHA. 80% of the people worldwide, and in Uganda it should be more than 80%, because how many of us are taking deep sea fish? I don't know anyone who is, and if someone is, they take it once in a while, maybe from a supermarket or something. Yeah, so how many of us? So 80% of people worldwide, and that includes Uganda, and do not get enough EPA. So EPA is very, very good for your diet. It does a variety of things, but so I would say its main advantage is its anti-inflammatory effect. So EPA is very good. It's a precursor. It's a precursor for prostaglandins, the prostaglandins that are anti-inflammatories, as we're going to look at later. So let's get into the advantages chapter. So EPA prevents blood clotting easily. Yeah. So EPA being an unsaturated fat as well, it also helps to reduce the triglyceride levels in the blood. And when you reduce the triglyceride levels in the blood, you reduce the total cholesterol levels. Therefore, you reduce the incidences of having maybe a stroke because of blockage, atherosclerosis, blockage of fat blocking the blood vessels. So it helps to reduce the total glyceride levels, which will eventually lead to the reduction of total cholesterol levels. So if you have a client, if you have a patient with issues with cholesterol, omega-3, the ones that Spring Valley omega-3, the cod liver oil are really a very good option to add to their treatment regimen. So let me go to the anti-inflammatory effects. EPA is a precursor to prostaglandins. Prostaglandins control very critical processes in the body. For example, inflammation. So I talked about inflammation. It also prostaglandins also control blood clot formation and blood flow. So EPA will help with preventing inflammation. It will help the formation of blood clots, but also it will help to improve flow of blood. So then the other thing that EPA does is that it helps prevent the buildup of calcium deposits in arteries. And what does calcium in arteries do? Actually, when you have calcium in arteries, they really become rigid and cannot expand, and really the arteries, the blood vessels become narrow. So EPA helps prevent the accumulation of calcium in the arteries, or reduce the amount of calcium in the arteries, therefore preventing the rigidity and also the narrowing of the blood vessels. I talked about the lowering triglycerides. So far I've looked at, if you have someone who has inflammatory conditions like asthma, like arthritis, EPA would be one of the very good things. If you have someone who has issues with blood clot formation, who forms a lot of clots, omega-3 EPA is a very good option, of which is most of the omega-3 that's on the market, that it's written on EPA, the ones that from fish oil. Then omega-3 is very good. I talked about triglycerides. It helps to reduce the triglyceride levels. So when you reduce the triglyceride levels, so let me first explain what they are. So whenever you eat, your body converts the excess calories into triglycerides, and what does it do? It tucks them away into your fat cells for later use. So whatever you eat, all the calories that are produced, your body will convert them into triglycerides, which I like calling fat. So whatever food you eat, as long as there are calories in it, your body will convert the excess that the body hasn't utilized into triglycerides. And what happens? These triglycerides are stored away as in your fat cells. And when they are stored away, for later use. Maybe the body just keeps it for in case maybe we need energy, excess amount of energy, in case we start hungry, then the body uses that stored triglycerides. But over time, when you overaccumulate in your fat cells, you know what happens. So over time, when the triglyceride levels increase, they contribute to the hardening, what we call atherosclerosis, hardening of the blood vessels, acute pancreatitis, and basically all the things associated with excess fat in the body and high cholesterol levels. So omega-3 EPA helping us prevent the accumulation of triglycerides. It will help prevent atherosclerosis. It will help prevent acute pancreatitis. It will help with blood flow, because the excess triglycerides, guess what? They harden the blood vessels, but also they can block the flow of blood in the blood vessels. So the other thing that EPA does, it slows the progress of rheumatoid arthritis. I talked about its anti-inflammatory effect, and also, so on top of it regulating the prostaglandins, EPA also reduces the pro-inflammatory marker called interleukin. So you've known about it, talked about inflammation on this same channel before, so you've known about it. Then the other thing is that EPA will help regulate dopamine and serotonin levels. So dopamine is yay, then serotonin is like cool down, relax. So dopamine is then serotonin is like good, relax. So EPA helps to that interplay between dopamine and serotonin. And also remember, we need a lot of serotonin in people who are depressed. We need who are depressed, their depression is usually related to the serotonin levels. So whenever we increase the serotonin levels, we hope to improve the mood and also reduce symptoms of depression. So that's why when someone is depressed, most of the antidepressants are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. They increase actually the amount of serotonin in circulation, which will reduce the symptoms of depression. So EPA it will help to regulate dopamine and serotonin, but will also help manage depression. Yeah, so EPA also helps to how can I say, EPA also helps to reduce the body's stress response. It helps to inhibit, whenever you're stressed, your body produces a hormone called cortisol. Now cortisol will reduce your libido. Yeah, cortisol reduce your libido. Cortisol will cause you to feel fatigued. It will really make your immunity to lower and all those things. So what it does, EPA will help to inhibit the release of cortisol as your body is responding to stress. I'm sorry about my background. My background seems a little bit noisy, but regardless, we move. Hee-hoo. Yeah, so that EPA also helps with women with polycystic ovarian syndrome. Lest you forget, we are talking about supplements that also help with polycystic ovarian syndrome. And one aspect of EPA that really helps is it's because of it's an anti-inflammatory, and there's a lot of inflammation involved with polycystic ovarian syndrome. So it will really be helpful towards that. So let me give a recap of what EPA does. EPA is an anti-inflammatory, so it will help with rheumatoid arthritis, help with asthma, help with polycystic ovarian syndrome, and any inflammatory condition that you think of. It also, because it regulates prostaglandin levels, it will also help prevent blood clot formation. The other thing is that it ensures proper blood flow. Then it also reduces calcium deposits in the arteries, therefore making the arteries be able to dilate, to open up, allowing proper blood flow, therefore helping with really regulating blood pressure, helping also prevent things of strokes, of like there are a lot of calcium deposits, preventing the issues of getting a stroke and all those cardiovascular conditions that are related to flow of blood. Then the other thing that EPA does is that EPA will help to regulate the levels of dopamine, which is hormone, and then cortisol, and then serotonin. So, and also it increases the amount of serotonin in circulation, which will also help to prevent symptoms of depression. The other thing that EPA does is that it helps the body's response to stress, which is production of cortisol. It will help to lower the production of cortisol. Yeah, we're there. So then we go to DHA. So DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, it looks a serious thing. Yeah, it's very serious. It has very serious implications, and all of us need it in the body, especially when we're dealing with the brain. So DHA helps with brain function. So it's a critical essential fatty acid. Like I had to emphasize, it is a critical essential fatty acid. So it's one of those fatty acids that are necessary. Yeah, it's very necessary. So it has a lot of health benefits. So let's get right into it. So in the adult human brain contains about 10 to 15% of DHA, which is docosahexaenoic acid, in the cerebral cortex. The cerebral cortex is the outermost part of the brain. So 10 to 15% of the cerebral cortex is actually made up of DHA. And guess what? We are in Uganda, very landlocked. Where are you going to get DHA? You have to supplement with DHA. You got it? Yeah. So it's so the cerebral cortex. So the cerebral cortex helps with cognitive function, things to do with memory, things to do with critical thinking. So Munange, the critical thinking might not be there because DHA levels. Anyway, I'm joking. Yeah. So the percentage greatly increases. The need DHA percentage in the brain is mainly very high in children. They're both the fetus and in early brain development, for example, in the infants and then the fetuses. So because the levels, the percentage of DHA in the cerebral cortex in children and fetuses is very high, because that's when the brain is actually really developing. Yeah. So so it is very important that way. It also makes up about 20% of the gray matter. Wow, I say brain matter. It makes up about 20% of the gray matter. So yeah, gray matter is not brain. It can be brain matter. So okay. Seriously. So DHA is critical for maintaining the fluidity and integrity of the cell membrane, which is important for proper nerve function, transmission of impulses from the brain to the nerve, between nerves and all that. So DHA is a critical component of the cell membrane. And remember, the cell membrane allows some components to pass through, so therefore increases the fluidity of the cell membrane. That means it allows some components to pass through, but also it maintains the integrity. Not everything passes through. So it's very good for transmission of impulses from one cell to another. So communication between cells is enabled because of DHA. When you don't have enough DHA, you usually have issues with transmission of information information and impulses from one cell to another. So it's very important for proper neuronal function, because it helps with the fluidity and integrity of the cell membrane. So again, so that's the first benefit. Then the next benefit is that DHA is very important during fetal development and early infancy. Very important during fetal development and early infancy. It's a critical component of the developing brain, like I talked about earlier, and helps support proper brain function, proper brain growth and neuron tissue formation and function. So the growth of the brain cells is basically dependent. So imagine 10 to 15% of the fatty cells of the cerebral cortex is DHA. 20% of the gray matter is DHA. That means the rest of the fatty acids clamor, like arachidonic acid and what, they clamor for the rest of the percentages, but the majority of the fatty acids that's most needed in the brain is DHA. And guess what? 80% of the world population does not have enough DHA. So we actually need DHA for proper brain function. Yeah. So then so also studies suggest that individuals with higher DHA levels have better cognitive performance in terms of attention, problem solving, and memory. So people with higher DHA have they solve, their critical thinkers, their problem solvers. Then they also give attention to detail. So DHA, so that's DHA for you, and it really helps with the brain. That's why you find most memory boosting supplements actually have DHA as a component. Brain Active, that's one of head. Omega 3 itself is a brain boosting supplement, so that's why they put brain, heart, and they usually put also lungs, things like that. So that's why you see that there is the brain number one when they're talking about supplements. What does omega 3 do? The main function is brain, because basically it's needed for cognitive function. Then the other thing is that DHA is very good with neuroprotection. So it has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties that can help protect the brain from oxidative stress and inflammation. I explained oxidative stress. I said when free radicals, like most of the body processes will produce free radicals. When free radicals affect one cell, that cell becomes a free radical. It affects the other cell. It affects it. Before you know it, you have what we call oxidative stress. When you have a collection of free radicals attacking a specific organ or what, there is oxidative stress, and one of the byproducts of oxidative stress is inflammation. So when usually oxidative stress and inflammation are related to conditions such as Alzheimer's disease and Parkinsonism. So if you're at risk of Alzheimer's disease and Parkinsonism, it is very good to take omega-3 in your diet, because it helps to reduce. Already you be having predisposing factors like genetics and the like. So when you take in an omega-3 supplement, it helps at least to double down on the risk factors. So DHA also supports neuroplasticity. What do we mean by neuroplasticity? It is the brain's ability to adapt and change in response to learning and development. It's the brain's ability to adapt and change in response to learning and experience. Yeah. So if you don't want to learn, say, but give me my brain, things are not getting, I don't click, and all those things. Maybe you need omega-3 so that your brain is easy to adapt to new learning and experiences, especially if you have a hard time retaining information, if you have a hard time of picking up new information. So it also facilitates transmission of impulses from one nerve to another. So the eye health, so DHA is also very important in the eyes. And what does it do? DHA is a component of the photoreceptor cells in the retina, particularly the rods and cones. So it's a structural component of the photoreceptor cells in the retina, particularly the rods and cones. Yes. So these cells are responsible for capturing and processing light, which is essential for vision. Man, if your cells can't perceive light, you can't see. All you'll be seeing is darkness. we are clear about that. So the reason you perceive omega-3 will help you to perceive, capture, and process the light, so that you're able to tell out the difference between colors and all those things. So DHA is a structural component of these cells. They are found they're in the retina. They're found in the retina, the photoreceptor cells, particularly the rods and cones, and they help to capture and process light, and which is very good for vision. So it's also vital. DHA is also vital. So that's why you find it in like pregnant care marks. Pregnant. So don't wonder, why do they have pregnant care marks, or why do pregnant care what? Why does it have? Why do these prenatal gummies have DHA? It's because omega-3 is also very essential. DHA is very essential in fetal development and for the proper formation of the eyes in a child. I already talked about the brain earlier, and also their function. So that's why you find that you have omega-3 that you give to babies as well, because they need it, because at that point they're still developing, even after they've been given birth to, after they have come to the earth. They also need, their brain needs to keep growing, their eyes, their vision needs to keep being enlightened. So that's why you find that some children are put on omega-3 supplementation after birth as well. So DHA has a lot of antioxidant properties, and that will also help protect the retina from oxidative stress and damage. It has a lot of antioxidant, anti-inflammatory properties that protect the retina from oxidative stress and damage, which will prevent diseases like age-related macular degeneration. Yeah, so it is also very effective there. Then DHA is also very good for people with dry eye syndrome. You know, those people who keep coming from Tears Natural, Refresh Tears, Natural Tears, Tears Natural, yeah. So people who keep who have dry eye syndrome, DHA is a very good supplement for them. DHA is also very good for insulin sensitivity in PCOS. Remember, these people have a lot of insulin sensitivity, so DHA is very good for insulin sensitivity. It allows insulin to enter into the cells. When insulin enters into the cells, that means it is the key that allows glucose to enter into the cells, therefore reducing blood glucose levels. Woohoo! So yeah, that's omega-3 for you. So what should be your take home? Your take home is that ALA is from plant sources, omega-3, DHA and EPA are from animal sources. When you take in ALA, it has to be converted into EPA and DHA, and not all of it is converted. Did I say that? I don't think I did. Not all of it is converted, and the process of conversion usually is slower because of age, genetics, the food you're taking, the supplements that you could be taking, yet you also need those supplements as well, and or any other medication that one might be on. So the two main types of omega-3 are EPA and DHA. EPA is an anti-inflammatory. We knocked it down. We started by saying anti-inflammatory, prevents blood clotting, good for arthritis, good for asthma. What else did we talk about? We talked about the fact that it helps to a bit stabilize the moods, especially regulate dopamine and serotonin levels, and it increases serotonin levels. How? Serotonin levels will help to improve the symptoms of depression. We knocked it down in PCOS, how it's an anti-inflammatory and also helps in PCOS. We talked about arthritis as well. Then we went ahead and talked about DHA, eye function, and the reason you perceive light, memory, keeping things, critical thinking, neuroplasticity, the ability of your brain to learn, to adapt to learning and new experiences. Insulin sensitivity. We talked about transmission of impulses from one nerve to another, the integrity and fluidity of the cell membrane. All those are functions of omega-3. So that's why I was excited in the beginning about omega-3, because guess what? Omega-3 so can be used for someone with eye condition, dry eyes. It can be used for someone with issues retaining memory, someone with Alzheimer's, someone who wants to boost, like I talked about, memory. It can be used for asthma. It can be used for skin conditions, people who have inflammations on the skin, who have internal inflammations. It can be used for someone who is depressed. It's an antidepressant. It can be used for cardiovascular disease. We talked about triglyceride, lowering triglyceride levels, preventing calcium deposits. basically things to do with blood flow, it is up there. So we've gone to the blood. Reproductive health, it can be very good for polycystic ovarian syndrome. It can be used for weight because it lowers the total cholesterol levels. So omega-3 is this, and you know what? Unfortunately, we don't have enough sources of EPA and DHA. Most of us in Uganda, especially, are deficient in EPA and DHA because guess what? We're not near a deep sea, we're not near a sea, we're not near an ocean. We have a freshwater lake, of which the sources of omega-3 are really limited or not there at all. So thank you so much. I remain Joan Bigaba. Catch you next time. Bye bye.